Hey YouTubers, it's me, Monkeydragon here, helping all the green goblins out there. Well anyways guys, I got some Search and Destroy gameplay. I'm starting to play more, starting to fall back in love, gonna enjoy it. You'll probably see some more Search and Destroy gameplay from me. Anyways guys, so the topic of today's commentary is adaptation. And what I mean by this is changing your style, your guns, your loadouts, and everything else to something that'll fit what you're currently playing. And I'm not talking about just making one class for domination. Well, what I'm talking about is kind of plan ahead. In the sense of if you're planning to play, let's say Search and Destroy like I'm playing now, make a couple classes for different scenarios that can play through. One, like for instance, this SVU. I've seen some gameplay of it and I was like, wow, I really like the SVU. It's a good gun. Maybe in the last patch or two, maybe they changed it a bit, and maybe it's doing pretty well. So I decided to throw it on, and after just going through this first round, although I didn't really get much action, I could just get that sense that seeing the guns and the kill feeds and everything that was going on, I was like, this SVU, I'm probably going to get caught up in, close quarters and not do too well. So I'm just going to decide to go ahead and change my gun. So that's what I decided to do. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. Is you can have, well, sometimes I do this. Sometimes I have one class for a specific game mode and I find it to be the absolute best in the sense of perks, attachments, or, equipment. Like my domination. This is one class that I never mess with. It is Flat Jacket, Scavenger, and Tactical Mask. Whenever I'm playing a domination or any objective-based game mode that's really hardcore objective, that's my class. That is my go-to class. Now, if it's a more long-range map, I'll put, like an assault rifle on. If things start to get really close quarters, a submachine gun. If things are more long-range, I'll put on a sniper rifle, and I'll just change the class. So you see, I'll just put on a different gun and throw in a couple more attachments. But I always have that element of edge to where I can still change my game at any moment to a different scenario. Like here, the guy said, oh, you picked the wrong gun. I was like, yeah, I really felt that, I would need to. And you'll see right here, I changed my gun to the FAL because I felt that it wasn't going to do work for me, the SVU. So I figured, this FAL, I figured this is what's going to do it for me. I don't think the SVU is going to be good in this game mode, or in this particular game. And that's what I'm trying to talk about. And like Search and Destroy, there is no really one set of perks that'll work for you, because in this game mode, it really varies. Sometimes players are heavy equipment, in the sense of they'll set up a bunch of shock charges, claymores, I'm trying to think of the word, bouncing betties, all that kind of stuff, really time-wired or tripped-wired based equipment. And sometimes it's all flashbangs. So you can really benefit from having one class with Tactical Mask and one class with, Hacker on. And you can also vary if these guys are all pretty much running, explosives, like claymores and bouncing betties and stuff, but they're really not running tacticals, like let's say shock charge and stuff. So you could technically take away the Tactical Mask and Hacker and just run Flat Jacket, and that'll do for you. And that's what I'm trying to say, is they always try to have an scapegoat. The one thing that I'd run into a lot of people, especially like quick scopers or people who are trying to do something special, is, man, you only did good because we were using this, and you suck because we were using this. No, dude, you put yourself at a disadvantage for never changing your class. You run into a lot of those people, especially the quick scopers. And I'm not trying to bag on them or whatever. If you're good, you're good. But what I'm trying to get at is always having a scapegoat. Even if, like, my subscribers right now, even if you guys, quite a few are quick scopers, if you played with me, I say, okay, you know what, you can go on a Ninja Fuse, you can go on quick scope, you can go and do all that stuff. But if you start doing that, or if it even looks like we might start to lose, I want you to switch your class. And my good buddy, I'm Too Blown HD 420, same as his channel name. He loves to snipe almost just as much as me, but he enjoys it so much so that sometimes he doesn't change his class. He just enjoys getting that sniper kill. And for me, I enjoy winning more than I do getting the sniper kill. So sometimes I have to reluctantly remind him to switch his class, and he'll be like, okay. And he calls it his monkey class because eventually I'll get mad at him. Because it's not like he's a bad player or a bad sniper or anything. It's just eventually, we all do bad. Hell, I didn't do hot, this today. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Is you always want to kind of have a backup class. Even if it's like for one specific game mode or a general sense of game modes. Like, hardcore class or your tryhard class. Always try to have a backup class. And especially if you're going into the game modes, or even if you're really good and you only like one particular game mode, and this is what I have to say honestly. Even though I don't recommend trying some bad weapons. Always try to try some new stuff, but always have a backup. Because if you're going into a game mode over and over again, even if you have your backup classes and all that stuff, don't run the same stuff over and over again. That's the #1 way to get bored of a game, honestly. And that was actually pretty good, that tomahawk. I was like, got him, the tomahawk. I was pretty impressed. So yeah. And, oh, another thing, your kill streaks. That's another way that you can have a backup or a follow-up net. In the sense of, if you know you're not going to do good, and this could also be like an after game because it's not in Modern Warfare 3 where you can instantly change, your class and also change your score streaks. But if you notice that the players you're playing against are, let's say, heavy launchers, and UAVs and counter UAVs don't work on these guys. These guys just instantly take it out. Then take it off and run other stuff, like a hunter killer drone. They can't shoot that out of this guy. Run, let's say, sentry guns, because they can't shoot that out of this guy. But if you see people start running EMP grenades that don't run the Guardians and sentry guns, they'll be like, oh man, don't keep running that stuff. Change it up. Always be willing to adapt your playstyle, your game style, and the way you play in your class loadouts to what the enemy team is playing. And that's what you really always need to keep in mind. Because I know it's really hard, especially when you get into like a furious rage when someone beats you, is that, oh man, I'm going to get these guys, and then you just change some stuff. It's really easy to forget some stuff that what they're changing, because usually you put on your favorite stuff and you'll forget to put on the stuff that counters them. And if you notice in some of these gameplays, if you're really watching this gameplay right now, you notice that I eventually change where I'm going to in the maps because I noticed where these guys are going, and then I noticed that there was pretty heavy, so the next round you actually see me hide back a little bit more. And that's another way, is also change not only your class loadout, your kill streaks, your perks, all that kind of stuff, also change the way you play. If you notice that these guys are really hardcore rushers, then don't rush them again if you don't have a perfect rushing class, because maybe they might have a little bit of an edge on you. So play a little bit more defense, try to get them to rush to a point where you have superior cover and best firing position, almost head glitching like this guy. If you know they're rushing, try to catch them off guard. Try to catch them in an area where they don't know where they are. Or, if they're super hardcore campers and they're camping in the back of the map, do vice versa. Rush the hell out of the bomb plant, get everyone set up there, plant the bomb as quickly as possible, and then anytime that they try to come out, boom, they're taken out because they were set up with their assault rifles and long-range rifles to take out the people because they're hiding in the back of the map, head glitching. Always be aware to change your class loadout, not only depending on whether their game style is different than yours, whether they're the rusher or campers, but also on their gun loadouts themselves. If you notice that these guys are really using submachine guns, and even if the map is long range, be attentive to that. Prepare to be able to change your class even to what their class is. Try to counter their counters. That's my best advice for you guys, is always try to think of what they're going to do in both their playstyle, in their class, and in their kill streaks and everything else. Because if you notice that these guys may not be the best players, say that you're an amazing player, but these guys, your teammates suck or whatever, and they're getting their kill streaks off of them. If they're running a lot of counter UAVs and UAVs, and you really depend on your minimap, then go ahead and either equip a launcher, or equip, I think it's hardline, or hardwired. Then equip that stuff. Also try to counter whatever they're trying to do. And keep in mind what they're going to do to counter your stuff. If you notice that they're adapting pretty well to the stuff that you're doing, let's say that you're running Guardians and stuff one round or one game, and then they start running EMPs, and then you start running UAVs, and then they start running launchers. Try to keep that in mind whenever you're changing your class every single game. To try to keep in mind that, okay, I used this really heavy last game, and now they're going to probably kind of counter it. What have they not tried to counter? What could I use to either nullify their effect? And that kind of stuff. A really good way to be like super impossible to counter, and I made a video on this, is kill streaks, is if you're really high and you're playing like a domination or a headquarters game or something, and let's say that they have launchers and EMP grenades. Anything in the sky they take out, anything on the ground they take out. A really good class, if you can get it, is orbital, EMP, and then a high-end kill streak. Because then your orbital, they can't take that out, so they get to see you, then you kill them, and then once you get your your EMP system and you have your kill streak, call your EMP, because their launchers won't affect your kill streak. Let's say it's Lone Star. Because while the EMP system out, the high-tech launcher that has the two launchers, everyone's calling it the Stinger missile, that the HUD to which it locks on is an electronic device. So when that's EMP'd, it no longer works. It's nullified. So that's one way that you can counter them. Always try to think of a way to get around their playstyle. And that could be in a variety of ways. That could even be, say that they're equipment heavy, but you don't want to sacrifice one of your perks. Maybe take off an attachment and put on an EMP device. Let's say that they're really engineer. That's the perk. Sorry, I'm not 100% fresh on the perk names. Let's say they're really engineer heavy. Then take off your equipment, or try to use it against them, in the sense of, if they're always taking out your equipment because, let's say, they shoot it, they don't have a hacker device, then try to use it as an early warning system. Try to use it in the sense that, okay, and that's why I use my Bettys. I place my Bettys in places where, if they're trying to round the corner, it's going to get them no matter what. You see what I'm saying? If they shoot it, then I know they're there. If it hits them and it doesn't kill them, then I know that they're there. If it kills them, then obviously, they're dead. But try to change it from what you were doing before to what you're doing now. Always try to keep that in mind, in every sense, in their playstyle, your playstyle, and the playstyle that the map is too. So don't bring like a submachine gun onto Turbine. That's probably a bad idea. An assault rifle will probably do good, unless you're staying into like the choke points, on the far left and far right. But always try to keep in mind, especially like I run into these people all the time with shotguns. Shotguns only work good in close quarters. Why you're taking it onto Turbine and running in the middle of the map is beyond my reasoning. I cannot figure that one out. I understand that the KSG is a slug round, but at 200 freaking feet, you're not going to get a hit marker on me, and my my FAL is going to kill you. You know what I mean? So if you are completely thick-skulled and right here's a really good example. I noticed that my whole team was going to, what is that, A? So then I go to B, and I notice, oh my goodness, here's all the enemies. I get my UAV, call it in, and boom. Enemies, okay, they're all over here, I started calling it out. Don't forget that too. Also pay attention to the minimap. Stay alert, stay alive. Truer words have never been said right there. Stay alert, stay alive. Okay, what was I previously talking about? Okay, so shotguns. Okay, so let's say you're really thick-skulled and you're fixed in your ways and you're not going to get rid of your shotgun. Let's say you're going for diamond and you're not going to stop using it until you get it. Then change your game style. Stop running in the center of maps. Try to stick to close quarters. That's where you're going to be good at. Even if you have to run through a long quarters map, try to weave in the sense of go behind this car, then go to here, then go to there. Always try to pull them to your advantage. Always try to keep in mind, especially their thought process of the last place they've seen you. I can't tell you how many fake outs I've gotten, in the sense of where I like, oh, there's the guy. Okay, he probably thinks I'm going to run that way, so I peek out really fast where I just was, and wait like a half a second for lag comp, and then for them to realize, okay, he's going to be on the other end of the truck. And then I'll lean out, and then I'll get my first rounds off, and then I'll kill the guy. Always try to keep that in mind too. But don't wait too long, because it'll take them like a half a second for lag comp for them to realize, you're behind the car, and then another half a second or so for them to realize, oh, he's going to end up on the other side of the car. And that's the way you should do it. And then, go and, once you compensated for that, lean out, kill him. So, yeah, always keep that in mind. So anyways, guys, we're going to reach the end of my gameplay here, so that's going to mark the end of our commentary here. So, yeah, guys, reach the end of the commentary. I hope you enjoyed it. So like the video if you liked it, or if you found it helpful. Subscribe to me if you want to see more of my videos, and don't forget to tell your friends about me, because who wouldn't want to win 20 bucks? And if you want to stay updated on all my videos and everything that I'm doing, follow me on Twitter. It's at xXMonkeyDragon. A link to it will be in the description. I'm Monkeydragon. That's all I got, guys. Peace.
Well, for my first game of search, that's not that bad. Do we have a random in here?